All right. Moving right along here. Now, this is connected to another recent story. It's a completely separate story here, and I do want to give a shout out. So, this story, I found information on it online, but was originally turned on to it by Christina Randall, and I never want to take someone's views or anything like that, but I feel like it needed to be talked about in this way, in this light, and she went about it in a little bit of a different way than what we're going to go about it, but if you're interested for more here, she also has a video on this, but the reason why I wanted to cover this was we just got done obsessively watching the Danelo Cavalcante prison break, right?
Oh, yeah.
Went on for 13, 14 days and finally caught. And, I mean, we've even seen articles coming out saying that police almost stepped on him.
Yeah.
Literally right next to him as he was dug into the ground with leaves and brush covering him. So wild stuff. Okay?
Complaining they almost stepped on him after they've been out there in the, searching for him in the forest for forever.
2 weeks. 2 weeks
Forever.
Of searching. So
standing in the rain for hours.
I agree. I mean,
so ridiculous.
I think law enforcement did a good job, you guys, and this is why I want to tell this story. So there was a lot of criticism. A lot of people looked at this and felt like, oh my God, 14 days, how could, they don't have their stuff together. Actually, when you compare it to a situation that really didn't have their stuff together, I feel like they had their stuff together.
And looking at other prison breaks, actually, it does seem like they did a pretty good job.
They did a pretty good job, I'm telling you, man. They had a perimeter at all times right from the start and only shrunk. When they were off, they quickly moved it back out and tried to bring it in and then quickly moved it. He got a car at one point, but for the most part, he was always controlled. They always had him surrounded. And once they finally, he made a mistake at night and that drone picked him up on the FLIR camera. They tracked him. Even with the storm coming in, law enforcement decided to wait out the storm and just stand out there and keep him circled till the storm passed. They got the drone back in, followed him to a shed, back out, and ultimately a dog was released on him, bit him in the head, held him until police got to him.
I mean, it paid off. I mean, waiting in that rain meant not going another week or 2 weeks.
Right.
Or, what I mean?
Exactly. So, who are we talking about in comparison to compare and contrast this story? This is Gonzalo Artemio Lopez. Have you ever heard of this person?
No.
A total monster, you guys. So, February 10th, 1976 to June 2nd, 2022. Gonzalo Lopez was an American fugitive, mass murderer, and prison escapee who killed a total of 6 people in separate murders in between 2005 and 2022.
Jeez.
Yeah, he was a prison escapee, and I feel like I hate to just flat out criticize law enforcement, but I feel like they did everything wrong here. I really feel like they did everything wrong. One of the main things I criticize with the Danelo case is that I feel like they could have put more emphasis on giving suggestions and ideas how to check on your neighbors and friends in the area because, in my opinion, that's the number one most important thing. Well, that's a very key point to this story. So, Gonzalo Lopez was thought to be have very serious ties to organized crime, if you get what I'm saying. We didn't dig into that background of what the name of those organized crimes are, but you guys get it, I'm sure, right?
Yep.
So his charges started, and he was a career criminal his entire life. As long as he was an adult, he was a career criminal. In 1994, he caught possession of Mary J., failure to stop and render A during a hit and run, and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. In 1996, he was convicted of all charges and caught an 8-year sentence. So this guy already did some serious time here. This is prison time. Oh, more than 12 months time, right? So let's fast track through that. He did his 8 years. Fast track to May 11th, 2004. He is back out. Now, Lopez was a passenger in a vehicle that was observed speeding by two Zapata County Sheriff's deputies. The deputies got in pursuit, and what's important is they were just speeding. That's it, just speeding. I don't know why they didn't pull over unless one of them had a warrant. We never can find out.
Or drugs or something.
I mean, yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to search you, and they could have just given you a ticket and you put everything under the seat.
Yeah.
But now they're targeting you. You ran, man. The sheriffs attempted to pull him over. The driver pulled over. Once they started getting out of the car, they took off. And Gonzalo was in the passenger seat. They sped away and engaged in a high-speed chase, okay? Now, and this chase was insane. All over the road, all over the place, had multiple other cop cars back up the original two, and it was just a long line of cop cars. These two took turns hanging out the window shooting at the cops.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, not just running, hanging out and shooting the driver and the passenger, who was Lopez. Now,
so dangerous.
Yes. So they lost control and ended up pulling over where they fled on foot. Okay, both of them did. So lost control, pulled over, police behind them. They both fled on foot, and both men got away, which is really rare. Really rare that both men got away. But I believe that the police officers at least ID'd one of them because the driver was actually caught the following day. Charged with attempted capital murder of a police officer and ultimately sentenced to 60 years.
Wow.
A big sentence.
That is big.
Yeah. They shot at cops. They ran.
They deserved it.
Yeah. I'm just surprised they only stuck with attempted capital murder and not like gun charges. Maybe they didn't have guns when they picked them up. Maybe they got rid of everything in the car. I don't know. But
I think they still could have got him.
Yeah. Ultimately, Lopez was not caught. All right. So he got away with that, and the driver never talked. On March 23rd, fast forward a little bit more here, about a year, March 23rd, 2005, Lopez and an acquaintance known as Rick, okay? That's all they know him as. I don't know if this is just an alias. I don't know if it's a name law enforcement came up with, but Lopez and Rick broke into a home of 37-year-old Jose Guadalupe Ramirez in Huescalo, Texas. They were both armed with guns. The two men tied up Ramirez and held his wife at gunpoint. Didn't tie her up, held her at gunpoint to stay there. They then left the home with Ramirez and took off in a red car, according to the wife. Now, strange, she didn't call the police.
Well, that's super strange.
She received calls. It doesn't say how long after, but she started receiving calls saying that he was okay. Ramirez was okay. She talked to him on the phone, said he was okay. But not so long later, the calls stopped coming in. The situation, based on accounts after the fact, confirms that Lopez and Rick were working for an organized crime family based out of Mexico. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, organized crime out of Mexico, like everyone understands what that is. According to Lopez himself, the leader of the crime family ordered a green light on Ramirez, the guy that they had just kidnapped. So, because he owed them $40,000. Apparently, the crime family had fronted him dope, drugs, all that stuff. And he never repaid them, never paid them back. Okay, so
Mistake.
Terrifying.
Why would you do that?
One, why would you do business with an organized crime family at all, unless that's your life? And why would you not pay them back? You know that this reminds me
Very
of
poor life decisions.
Yeah.
Lake of the Ozarks?
No, this reminds me of the break-in and kidnapping in San Antonio that we just covered. Remember, the family of 7, 2 men broke in, took the husband and wife, and left the kids untouched.
Yep.
And then that people in the neighborhood made some weird comments like, these 2 people were always going out in their trunk and having people stop by. What?
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Were they fronted something? Were they handling something?
Maybe they were just selling like empanadas.
CDs.
Empanadas.
Right. Yeah.
Bread.
Yeah. It's
she
possible.
probably baked. Because I have gone to many Mexican trunks, okay?
No, I have too,
and bought
honestly.
Lots of breads.
Yeah. But that's what it sounds like, is that crime there. So, following that K-nab, they took Ramirez to Lopez's mother's house and tied him up in a shed outside. And called Ramirez's family for ransom money, basically the $40,000. And what's crazy is the family brought money, dope, and 3 truckloads of items to repay this money back.
Okay.
Yeah. So
when does he escape prison?
They got all this, okay? And when Lopez and Rick kept all the money and dope, left all the remaining items there, and according to Lopez, he was talking directly with one of the crime family leaders. The crime family leader said, okay, now I want you to end him. So this guy takes, later in the night, a pickaxe, dude.
Oh my gosh.
A pickaxe. And ends this guy.
Ugh.
Yeah. Gruesome. Horrible.
Why like that?
I don't know. To prove a point, I don't know. But autopsy cause of death is 3 chop-style wounds to the skull with a pickaxe. So, wild.
Okay, so he's a monster.
Yeah, he is
like
a
you
monster.
Were saying.
Yeah, and just gruesome. Lopez then buries the body of Ramirez out in a tree line, forest area, whatever. And in April 2005, Lopez was caught via a tip from a confidential informant. Once he was caught, Ramirez, the guy that was ended with the pickaxe, wife, gave a positive ID in the lineup, and they arrested him. Lopez, through interrogations, ended up showing the police officers where the body was, but he refused, no matter what was offered to him, refused to ever give over the name of his accomplice in that situation, whoever Rick was. He took the fall completely for the crime family. So February 14th, 2006, his trial began and only lasted 2 days and was found guilty, which for a capital murder offense is pretty quick.
Dude, that's incredibly short.
Yeah. He got 1 count of capital murder, 1 count aggravated K-nab, and while he was in prison, authorities learned of his involvement in the car chase. You remember the car chase originally that he got away from and that other guy didn't roll on? And on December 13th, 2007, he was found guilty for attempted capital ending of a police officer and given a second life sentence.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. So after being in jail for about 5 years, okay, on May 12th, 2022, Lopez was one of 16 prisoners on board a Texas Department of Criminal Justice transport bus traveling to a medical appointment when Lopez began getting to work here on this prison break. He removed, according to everything we can find, he removed his cuffs with a shank, okay? Now, I've known a lot of people that have done prison time, you guys, in my time, and they put shanks in really uncomfortable spots.
No
okay,
kidding.
And there's been proof and evidence of people getting in shanks like 10 inches long.
No.
Just yes, oh yeah, absolutely.
Wait, up their prison purse?
Yes, absolutely. Huge pointy shanks, and they have a way that they do it where they like wrap it in paper and then use like plastic of utensils and all this stuff, but they have a process to where
Does it bend?
where it doesn't harm them, and they put like something on the tip or any of the sharp points so it can't harm them anywhere. So he gets a shank, whether it was carried by him. I don't want to stay on that topic
No,
too much.
Go ahead.
I think people get the point, and it's not anything new. They take in drugs like this size. It's just part of the culture.
You said 10 inches long, though. I was like
Yes.
trying to think how that works.
Dude, there's been ones that have been 14 inches, I think, on a TV show
Because your
I saw.
intestines aren't straight. You'd think it would just poke a hole in you.
No,
you know?
you just sit up straight. Like, you're not going to bend over and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's been proven that these sizes have been taken in there.
Okay.
But so he had his shank. He got to work removing his cuffs. And here's the wild part that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So in a prison transport bus, it's covered by metal, by gating everywhere. And he apparently, with that shank, you guys, cut a hole in that gating. I think that has to be a typo. There's no way. There is no shank out there that will cut a hole. The only thing I could think is if there were two items, and they have these things where they'll cut metal where you like, it's almost like an ice cream scoop looking thing, and you scoop it in there and it pulls like a sliver of the metal back. And that's the only thing that I could think. Anyways, he gets through it somehow. I don't know what the details are. And he uses that shank and stabs the police officer, starts fighting with the officers in the bus. The bus pulls over because the driver stabbed the other officer, because there's two officers to watch all of them. They're on the outside of the gate. He gets through the gate. They pull over. And he takes off. He goes running out of the bus. The cops follow him. He turns around, comes back to the bus. The cops are out following him, and he takes control of the bus. He starts driving it.
No way.
Yes. The cops then shoot at the bus and blow the tires out. So he drives a little bit further down. He ends up crashing the bus and takes off. He takes off, and he is officially broken out of prison at this point. Wild, right?
Yep, that is pretty wild.
So, he was out for about a month, and law enforcement was hot on his tail. They had found multiple places that he had stayed at and confirmed that, they had evidence of him breaking into homes and eating food and taking supplies and all these things. He was out for about a month, okay? And then this unfortunate situation happened. And I gotta say, with the police here, I can't find any records of controlling anything around him. I can't find any records of police coming out and making statements. I can't find any records of police knocking door to door, reaching out to the public. One thing they did in Pennsylvania, they said multiple times, is they sent out reverse 911s, meaning every phone in that area got a reverse 911 with a pre-recorded message or text message saying, hey, this is what's going on. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. Check in with your neighbors. Check your things. Like
a college town does.
Yes.
Where they send out an alert or an Amber Alert. Like,
yes.
everybody got this alert. Like,
yes.
be safe because this fugitive is on the loose.
Exactly. And in this situation, they didn't do that. They didn't do any of it. And Christina Randall even goes so far to say that one of the people, Banfield, made a statement saying she reached out to the law enforcement and begged them to come on the show to make a statement about this situation, and they would not. Whether they were doing that because they didn't want to alert him that they were on to him, I don't know. But June 2nd, 2022, he came upon a ranch owned by the Collins family in Centerville, Texas. Okay. This family was going out there to go hunting, hang out with Grandpa. It was one man, 66-year-old Mark Collins, 4 of his grandchildren, so 18-year-old Waylon Collins, 16-year-old Carson Collins, 11-year-old Hudson Collins, all brothers, and then their cousin, 11-year-old Bryson Collins. So you're talking 11, 11, 16, 18, and 66. The only reason they went out there is because they believed that they were safe, that that area was cleared. Police didn't communicate, and they believed that that area was cleared. So these guys go out there. It's not said whether Lopez was there first or the family was there first, but they encountered each other, okay?
Oh, gosh.
Lopez killed all of them.
Oh, my gosh.
The children, the man. The autopsy showed they died from a mixing of stabbings, beatings, and gunshots.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, horrible. Horrible.
Like, actually horrible.
All from a prison break that wasn't managed correctly, okay? Lopez then stole an AR-style rifle and their truck. So he was now driving around in a white Silverado. The police did get this information out pretty quick because the mom couldn't get a hold of the grandpa. They knew that there was an escaped convict somewhere, so she just had a feeling that she needed to reach out to police. She calls police. Police goes out there later that same day, finds the disaster here. Finds all of them, okay?
So sad, man.
It was just unneeded. It's not necessary if law enforcement is doing what they're supposed to.
The controlled perimeter
reverse 911s. Like, I feel like the more I look at Pennsylvania, the more I feel like, yeah, they did an okay job.
Yeah.
Any situation, there's this saying that no investigation is perfect and no crime is perfect. That's because human error happens. Are there going to be things that they could have done better in Pennsylvania? Yes. Did anybody die? No. Nobody died.
No, nobody.
Is a loss of multiple lives here. It's like an absurd amount of loss of life.
Yeah, some people got super scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank God nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
It's super tragic.
It is. So alerts went out to search for the truck in Lopez, and that paid off because late on June 2nd, that same day, a deputy spotted the truck from a tip and confirmed via license plate. Officers tailed him until they got him to an open area in Jordanton, and they set a perimeter around him, laid spike strips, punctured all the tires, and Lopez kept driving. He was driving frantic again, hanging out, shooting at the cops. No one was hit from him, driving all over the road until finally he lost control. Hit a utility pole and fence. He exited the truck, stumbling, shooting at officers, where 4 officers got out of their vehicle, returned fired, and ended him.
He just causes so much damage.
So much chaos.
Yes, like, it's so ridiculous.
So again, what did police do wrong here? They should have been alerting authorities. There were kids outside playing because they felt like that area was safe. This family went to go hunting and hang out only because they felt like that area was safe. That wasn't their home. That was their hunting cabin.
So it was a vacation home, basically.
A vacation home.
Yeah.
And police did not do reverse 911s. They did not help the citizens stay safe. They did not stay on top of the statements being released to public.
Yeah, getting the information out to them so they can stay safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you want to look at the Danelo Cavalcante prison break, you compare it to one that went wrong, I feel like they did okay.
Yeah.
This guy was out for 30 days, double plus some. Took out 5 people, 4 of them children. He ended in his own life being ended. Cops stabbed, vehicle stolen, literal madness and chaos here. But as always, I want to know what you guys think here.
I think it definitely shed a light, like, for me, because I did wonder throughout it, like, why are they not catching him?
Yeah.
Like, this seems so ridiculous. They have this little radius, and they can't figure out where he is.
I
We
was
have
starting to
drones,
feel the same
helicopters, dogs. Like, how many more resources do you need to, like, search this little area and say where he is? But it's probably just harder than it seems,
I
like,
think
to
it
the
is.
public,
Yep.
you know? And he had clearly like a lot of experience surviving in the wilderness, like
He
growing
literally
up in
dug
the
into the
Amazon.
ground.
Yeah, he literally grew up and spent a lot of time in the Amazon jungle.
Yeah, way harsher environment than what he was in Pennsylvania.
Exactly, where there's legit predators.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think he had the experience to give them a run for their money, but he
Yep.
still got caught in 2 weeks and nobody got hurt, which we
is
should
the
all just...
most important.
That is the most
thing.
important. He's back in prison and nobody got hurt.
Yeah, I agree.
So we can all be thankful that,
Yep.
you know, that's a big family for all of them to get killed.
I know. And that was all of her kids, too. All of them, dude. From this chaotic criminal that it just didn't need to happen.
No.
Did not need to happen. People have speculated, did the police help him? I don't know. I don't see enough evidence here for me to jump on that bus. It's a good question, but I just want to understand the evidence showing that they could have helped him. Because he ended up dying.
Yeah.
So,
right.
they didn't help so much, but, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm curious what you guys think,
honestly,
though.
glad he did.
Yeah.
How much more would have happened? He literally was just like a tornado of death.
I know. And Cavalcante, he was digging in the ground and then covering himself with brush and leaves. Like, 1, you know how uncomfortable that is? And 2, that's why we weren't able to pick him up.
Right.
So.
Right.
But, yeah, this is a prison escape gone wrong where police didn't do what they were supposed to.
Very wrong. Like, tragically wrong.
Tragic, horrible. So, just... we remember these 5 people that were ended that didn't need to. You know, I think if they would have done it different, because he had a whole month out before this happened, and they had a whole month to catch him. If they were cordoned off, doing reverse 911s, had the public looking and making sure they were safe themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super curious what you guys think.
Okay, so...